Alright guys, welcome back to a new video. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to build a disease predictor using Python, Streamlit, and scikit-learn. This is going to be a really cool video, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how the app works by showing you guys the final demo of the app and explain to you guys on a high level the different parts on how this app has been created. So basically I use Streamlit for the UI. So as you can see, it is already hosted at aicreator.streamlit.app, and Streamlit is just a really easy way to create ML applications and put them on the web with Python, right? And what this app is going to be doing is it's going to be taking any type of CSV file or any type of data, right? And what it's going to do with that data is it's going to split the data into an output and the features. Now, in this specific application, it's going to be using a sigmoid activation function, or specifically the logistic regression activation function. And if you don't know what an activation function is, I talk a little bit about them when I go through my perceptron neural network video. I'll put it in the description. But basically, this activation function is going to be really useful for any type of application in which there's an output column with a binary output. So what this means is, let's say we have a data set, right? Let's say they're heart disease. And this heart disease data set can have a bunch of different parameters for, the blood pressure, right? Um, does the person does the person have a already, or is the person already in risk for heart disease, right? Does the person is the person old, or are they young, right? So these different parameters we can use to determine if the person has heart disease, right? And now in this data set, as long as there's a column that says do they have a heart disease or do they not have heart disease, we can use this data set. So this is one example of that. So if we go to our heart disease prediction, which is already an app that I've created at hearthealth.streamlit.app, if you want, you can try that out before you use this application. But basically, this is one type of data set. It has a bunch of different parameters like age, cholesterol, right, slope, right, and finally we have this last column, which is our target. Now, this target is okay. Did this person have a heart disease or did they not? So if we have data like this, we can use this application, right? And this is just because sigmoid activation functions are mainly used for outputs with binary data, right? And that's where we're going to have our most accuracy. Okay, so now we can just upload this heart disease data.csv, which we've just done, right? And now what you got to do is say the output column name. Now in this case, it's just going to be target, right? And now we can generate this model. Now, what this application has done is it's used scikit-learn, which is a really popular Python library, and it's used that to take the CSV file, right? It's going to split the data with its features, and it's going to split the output data, which is that target column, right? Now the features are just going to be all of the training data, right? Because what we want to do is we want to say, okay, these parameters is what's causing this person to have heart disease or not, right? And now as we train it, the model has been fine tuned and has some sort of idea, right? It has the encodings and the kind of like the data points to determine, does this person have a heart disease or do they not have a heart disease? And it's automatically going to download this model for you, right? So just in two different steps, we can download our model. So now we can use this model, which is going to be a pickle file, right? This model.pickle is downloaded, catered to this CSV file. Now, this application also allows you to upload any type of pickle file, right, into the application, and it can also run and predict in this same application. So all we got to do is put the new data that we want to train on this model, right? So we have new data that we want to test. Okay, does this person have heart disease or does it not, based on the data that we've already got from that CSV file? And this is just one new type of data that we have. And now all we got to do is upload this model dot pickle, and it'll automatically tell us if we have a disease or not. Okay, so it says you have this disease. And what I did was actually put this data I got from the CSV file. So this data is right here. As you can see, it's the same. And you can see the target was 1. So this model specifically, it has a training, it has a training accuracy. So the prediction on training data of 85%, right? So that's the way we can see it's fairly high for this small data set of only 300 people. It also has an 81% accuracy on testing data. So yeah, so that's like pretty good accuracy for a data set that's really small, right? Because this data set, it only has 300 different people, and it only has about 13 different parameters for each one. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about the code behind it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the code that we used to build this application. Now, I explained how we have a main.py file, which is just created in Streamlit. So we just have one placeholder for a file upload, and it's just asking to upload a CSV file. Then what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be getting the output column name, which is useful because later on in our model file, we're just going to be predicting whether the person has a disease or not. And how it's going to predict it? Well, it's going to split the feature data from our output file and all the rest files, because all the rest columns, because these columns are the data that's going to determine the output file, right? If there is a heart disease, if the parameters are a certain amount, right? And there isn't a heart disease if it's something else. So that's how we're going to split the data. So once you put a CSV file in it, it's just going to read the CSV file and just going to write it to the application so you can just visualize it. And then we click generate model. What it's going to do is automatically going to go to our model.py file, and it's just going to initialize the model. So when we initialize it, what it's going to be doing is it's going to just load that CSV file and then get that output name. Because then when we call the split features target, we're going to be splitting the data from the output to our other columns, right? And finally, we're just going to train the data on that output data and on the input data, right? So we're going to split it in X and Y, X being the data given to the model, right? Those 13 columns, at least for the heart data set. And then the output, which is the Y, is just going to be either 1 or 0. All right, finally, we're just going to train this data, and we're just going to dump it into that model.pickle file. Finally, if we are going to upload a new file to the data, it's just going to predict it by loading that file. And then if the prediction is 0, the person doesn't have a disease. And if it's 1, the person does have a disease. So then it displays it on the Streamlit app. All right, guys. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want the code for that, for this application, you can just put a comment down below. And if you have any questions, you can do that too. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. So next time,